a while back, Kamala Harris had an interview with 60 Minutes. We covered that on the show. This is when she was still in the presidential race, still in the running at that point in time. Well, since then, it appears that Donald Trump's team requested to have the transcript of that interview because the interview was, I guess, recorded, but not just because it was recorded. There were pieces of the interview that were missing. Now, how did people come to this conclusion? Well, 60 Minutes aired one part of the interview, and apparently Face the Nation aired a different part of the interview, which gave people pause. And they're like, wait a minute, there are different answers to these questions here. So CBS News did decide to release the full unedited video, that interview with Kamala Harris. I did see the full thing, but there are 3 questions in particular that were changed through edits that I do want to focus on for this particular discussion. And I want you to think about how this door was shut. The first one is the response to taxes. So let's get to this clip first. Shout out to Gio Debata. Kamala's actual interview answers with 60 Minutes were so bad. Let's get to the response. Again, the unedited response to the tax question. Listen to this.
Madam Vice President, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Good to be with you.
Well, can we just get just a little bit of a question, please, so I can get it over the shoulder shot?
Yeah.
1 second. Just a second.
Did you guys hear what that was? Let's go back because there's someone in the background.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Good to be with you.
Well, can we just get just a little bit of a question, please, so I can get it over the shoulder shot?
Yeah.
1 second. Just a second. Okay, thank you.
You need me talking?
Yes, sir.
Well, we were talking about how you're going to pay for it, and I mean, I truly do mean it. Your plans are logical, make logical sense. Mm-hmm. The way Washington works is not logical. So how are you going to convince a divided Congress that what you say, your plans, are something that they should all agree to and provide to the American people when they've shown no inclination to do that up to this point?
Is that what you needed?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. 30 seconds of silence, please, for Ruth John.
So I believe that must be a producer in the background. So do you see what's happening here? He's like, okay, 30 seconds of silence. So he wanted to get that sound bite there from the interviewer there for 60 Minutes. And he's like, okay. And she goes, is that what you needed? And he goes, yes, 30 seconds of silence, please. So again, as I told you back then during that time and people heckled me for it, I told you that was not a live interview. It was very obvious that for those of us who do content creation, that interview was recorded. Okay. I know a record when I see one. Okay. It was very obvious. Now watch this part. Isn't this awkward?
Cameras are off.
How will you?
It's going to be taxes. It's going to be literally, if the economists,
So we're going to go back. I want you to hear him say the cameras are off. Listen again.
Cameras are off.
How will?
So the producer back there says cameras are off. So you see how they were setting this up to insert part of the answer, but not the full answer. And they're filming it. And they said, give me 30 seconds of silence. So that 30 seconds, he's just sitting there looking at her. How awkward is that? To make it look like it's natural, but it's not. It's like when someone gets, we used to talk about this, right? Like when I was in school. One of the things I used to tell people is like, it's like when someone, they go to the salon and they're like, they get like a weave or something like that. Let's extensions or something like that, right? And everybody know We all know that's not natural. We all know that's not your hair. Fine. It is what it is. Flaunt it. You got it like that. Flaunt it like that. But it's when you try to pass it off as though it is. Like, that's the thing that people are kind of like, why are you trying to like, we just know that it's fine. It is what it is. Just claim that, right? Don't try to trick people. They try to trick people. So once he said the cameras were off, now he says, how will you? How will you do it? So this is not in the interview. That's the part I wanted to show people. Watch.
Cameras are off.
How will you?
It's gonna be taxes, it's gonna be literally, if the economists, I mean, they're, from each, the spectrum.
But I hear what you're saying
Yeah.
about the economists. This is true.
Yeah.
But Congress is not the economists.
I know, but
See, that's not in the unedited interview. And what that shows you is that she was unsure. What that shows you is that she didn't know how she was going to get it done. What that tells you, ladies and gentlemen, is that she wasn't ready. And this is what I was saying last year. And people were like, oh, you're being too hard on Kamala. Give her a chance. That's misogynist. That's sexist. That's racist. I'm a Black woman. And I saw it. She wasn't ready, fam. And they wanted you to believe that she was. She didn't know how she was going to do it. She was just saying things. And so that part of the interview is not there. That was off camera because she didn't know. As president, you got to know. So then we go to the second question. We go to the part about Ukraine. And there was deception here as well. And I think everybody needs to hear this one, especially if you are anti-war, right? So let's go to the video first.
Would you meet with President Vladimir Putin to negotiate a solution to the war?
This is really, there we go. So the first part you're going to see is the top part. This is the part that's edited. That's the part that all of us saw. And then this bottom part here is the unedited part. So let's watch the part that we saw first. Listen to this.
Would you meet with President Vladimir Putin to negotiate a solution to the war in Ukraine?
not bilaterally without Ukraine. No. Ukraine must have a say in the future of Ukraine.
As president, would you support the effort to expand NATO to include Ukraine?
Those are all issues that we will deal with if and when it arrives at that point. Right now, we are supporting Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russia's unprovoked aggression. Donald Trump, if he were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. He talks about, oh, he can end it on day one. You know what that is? It's about surrender.
Would you meet with President Vladimir Putin to negotiate a solution to the war in Ukraine?
Not bilaterally without Ukraine. No. Ukraine must have a say in the future of Ukraine.
How about as president?
I'm sorry that this part is quiet, but I'll show you the transcript as well.
Would you support the effort to expand NATO to include Ukraine?
Those are all issues that we will deal with if and when it arrives at that point. Right now, we are supporting Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russia's unprovoked aggression. And
I think it's at, oh, okay. I didn't know you could do that. Okay. Eric's going to make it louder for you guys. Because you have to hear what she says about Ukraine, guys. This is so important because this was pulled out as well. Just pull it back just a little bit.
To include Ukraine.
those are all issues that we will deal with if and when it arrives at that point. Right now, we are supporting Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russia's unprovoked aggression and doing what we can to continue to build and strengthen the alliance around the support for Ukraine's right to be an independent nation, free from having its borders forcefully taken by Russia. And we are going to continue to work closely with our NATO allies to continue to reinforce America's alliance in the context of NATO. Again, in this election, There's a real difference between me and the former president. I believe in reinforcing the strength of NATO, understanding, again, it is the greatest military alliance the world has ever known. Donald Trump would pull us out of NATO. Donald Trump, if he were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. Let's be clear about that. He talks about, oh, he can end it on day one. You know what that is?
So now we get to the part of where she says Donald Trump would have Putin sitting in Kyiv right now if he were. So I'll show you the part that was removed. We have the transcript as well, and it's circled. This piece right here was cut. And doing what we can to continue to build and strengthen the alliance around the support for Ukraine's right to be an independent nation, free from having its borders forcefully taken by Russia. And we are going to continue to work closely with our NATO allies to continue to reinforce America's alliance in the context of NATO. They removed this piece here that she said about NATO. Why? Why did they remove that? That's what she believes. That's how she feels. Why would they remove that at that point in time? Is it because they know that anti-war movement has been growing? Is it because they know that more and more Americans are not too fond of this idea of NATO? Is that part of the reason why? Why did they take that out? That was not in the interview that was shown to you. Were they trying to make her look like less of a war hawk? What were they trying to do? That's Ukraine. The worst part here is the question about Israel. And you're going to see her real answer first this time, and then you're going to see the edited response. This is what we were getting, folks. This is what we were getting. Listen to this. This is her actual answer that you did not see.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
That's a completely different answer. And I believe they took this out because listen to what she says.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
So what they removed there was her admitting to you that the movements that Israel did in the region, what Israel was doing to the West Bank, what Israel was doing to the Palestinians in Gaza, it was supported by them. What did I tell you last year? I told you Israel is not doing anything that the Biden administration doesn't want them to do. So they had to remove that because that's openly admitting, which was true. They had to remove that because they're like, no, we can't keep that in there because then people are going to hear you say that the U.S. government was approving of the movements that Israel made in that region, which was the truth. This is not the same answer.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Guys, this is deception. I mean, she didn't win, but if she did win, do you see this? You go from the movements that they've made in the region has been supported by us to we're not going to stop. I literally had a back and forth again with a former high school classmate of mine who argued me down that Kamala Harris would be different on this issue. And I said, no, she would not. She's a Zionist. She always has been. He was like, well, she didn't say. Yeah, she actually did, but it was edited. So you think she didn't say it. This is why I tell you to follow the money, folks. You see how they're deceiving people? You see how the media is deceiving people? So this is why I say follow the money. So if you follow the money and you see that she's taking all this money from AIPAC, you can kind of figure out what her position is going to be when it comes to the Palestinian people. I remember Kamala Harris standing up on that stage and saying ever since she was a little girl, she had this passion to fight for Israel. I didn't hear her say she had passion to fight for the Palestinian people. I've never heard her say she had passion to fight for the Palestinian people. She wouldn't even let a Palestinian American speak on the damn stage at the Democratic Party National Convention. So why would people believe that she had this passion for these people? She never did. You want to believe it. You want to believe it because it's your party. It is possible for both parties to be trash. This is very possible, but it was hidden from you. But if you did a little bit of research, you would have seen throughout her career, she has advocated for Israel. She has spoken at multiple AIPAC conventions, just like Cory Booker, just like Richie Torres. So if you can see it with Richie Torres, if you can see it with Cory Booker, why all of a sudden when it came to Kamala Harris, you were blinded to this? You had these blinders on all of a sudden, shut the door on the bullshit. This woman tried to play you, man. The difference between Kamala and Trump is that Trump said the quiet part out loud, out in the open. He didn't try to hide. She was trying to hide. She was trying to play you. When people ask me why I had so much disgust and disdain for the Democratic Party, it's because I don't like being played. It's because they pretend to be something that they're not. And that doesn't mean you go vote for the Republicans, but the reality is, would you rather be stabbed in the back or in the front? I want to know what's coming at me. You don't want someone to sneak up behind you. So shut the door. Now, I don't know if the unedited, you can watch the full unedited interview, by the way, if you Google it. I don't know if this would have even been a thing if she would have won. That's the thing. But she she agreed. She didn't care about those Palestinian people. Every time she mentioned this conflict, she mentioned them last. But you have all these people where they're trying their best to smear all these people. Blue MAGA is crazy right now. Blue MAGA is all on social media and saying, that's what you guys get for voting third party. That's what you guys get for not coming out to vote. You need to remember that you still need to try to win come 2028. And shaming voters is not the way that you get back there. You need to remember that in order to win Michigan, you have to win Dearborn. You have to win Detroit and the Detroit suburbs. And Dearborn is a part of that. So you going around pointing your fingers and shaming people for not wanting to vote for the people who killed their fucking family members. What the hell is wrong with you? It's a cult. It's such a mess. It's such a mess. I've never seen I swear to God. I knew there were issues within the parties. But Blue MAGA right now is showing you just how racist and nasty they can be, which is what I told you guys. I've been telling you for years that white liberals can also be racist. And all you got to do is move against the grain and they'll show you just how nasty they can be. As long as you march at their beat, they'll be fine with you. The moment you move outside of the lane, they will show their whole ass. And that's what you're seeing on social media right now. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.